Hello everyone, I am B.V. Ramna, English teacher. Today we will explore the poem Trees written by Adrienne Rich. It is a literary piece selected for 10th grade curriculum. Together we will delve into both literal and figurative meanings of the poem, examine the literary devices and poetic devices used by the poet, and uncover the metaphorical layers within the poem. Let's get started. This poem consists of 4 stanzas. Each stanza comprises 7, 9, 8 and 8 lines respectively. However, there is no rhyme scheme in this poem. It is written in free verse, blank verse. Now let us see the significance of the title Trees. As the title suggests, this poem is about trees. It's precised how humans have destroyed the forests. We cut down the trees for our own greed and purpose. To beautify our houses, we confine the trees within the 4 walls. The real habitation of trees is forests. So keeping them inside is a crime, isn't it? Here, the struggle of the trees is described so that the title is aptly suggested. Now let us know about the poetess Adrienne Rich. She is an American poet. She has been called a feminist because she supports the cause of women emancipation, writes about women empowerment always in all her writings. Here, the trees may also be interpreted as a commentary on social, political implications imposed on individuals, particularly women, whose expression in life and freedom have been restricted. Now let us read stanza-wise and analyze the remaining things. Can there be a forest without trees? Where are the trees in this poem and where do they go? Now let us recite the first stanza. The trees inside are moving out into the forest that was empty all these days, where no birds could sit, no insect hide, no sun bury its feet in shadow. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. What are the trees doing? They are moving into the forest. Now the trees realized their existence and decided to go to their place. Since the forest was empty, no bird could sit, no insect hide, and no sun bury its feet in shadow. Here, sun's feet means the rays of the sun. The rays of the sun are not able to form patterns in shadows. Now see the last line. What change is expected to happen by morning? By morning, the forest is expected to be full of trees. So, the movement of the trees brings life and fullness to the forest. It is a positive note. Here, the poet ends the first stanza with an optimism. Now, let us see the metaphorical meaning in the first stanza. Here, the trees metaphorically represent women because women have been enslaved. They have been kept to do all the household chores. What the poet felt. Now they want to go out of the house to give something to the society in which they are living. Now come to second stanza. All night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves strain towards the glass, small twigs stiff with exertion, long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof like newly discharged patients, half-dazed, moving to the clinic doors. This stanza delves into the details of the trees' struggle for freedom. Their branches are stiff and strained, implying that their natural growth is hindered by their confinement. What were the roots doing all night? All night the roots were trying to free themselves. Here in this stanza, the poet conveys the efforts of the plants through words like disengage, strain, stiff with exertion, and shuffling. The leaves are trying to break through the glass as though they are aware of the boundary separating them from the world outside. The small twigs are described as being still with exertion. Here, exertion means highest force to go outside. In this stanza, the cramped boughs mean restricted boughs. Those are shuffling under the roof. These long cramped boughs compared to newly discharged patients, it is a simile because his a comparison is made between the long cramped boughs to newly discharged patients. And another difficulty word, half dazed. It means those discharged patients are not recovered fully, so they are moving as if they are moving to the clinic doors. Here in this stanza, the leaves, twigs, and boughs are personified because they have been given human like qualities. Now, let us see the third stanza. I sit inside, doors open to the veranda, writing long letters in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. The night is fresh, the whole moon shines in a sky like still open. The smell of the leaves and lichen still reaches like a voice into the room. In this third stanza, the poem shifts focus to the speaker's reaction to the tree's escape. The speaker is writing letters. She is a passive observer, watching as the trees movement in silence. The open doors to the veranda symbolize a connection between the inside of the house and the outside world, allowing the movement of natural elements, trees. The speaker scarcely mentions the departure of the forest in her letters. It indicates a possible reluctance because she is unwilling, inability to fully acknowledge the change. These lines tell us that the poet is indifferent to the concept that the trees grow outside. Now, outside, the night is fresh. The whole moon shines in a sky still open, but the smell of leaves still remaining in the house. A lichen means crusty patches, bushy growth on trees' trunks formed by association of fungus or algae. The smell of the smell is compared with the yelling voice of the trees. It means it is a desire for freedom. It is also simile because the smell is compared with the yelling voice. Now let us read the fourth stanza. My head is full of whispers, which tomorrow will be silent. Listen, the glass is breaking. The trees are stumbling forward into the night. Winds rush to meet them. The moon is broken like a mirror. Its species flash now in the crown of the tallest oak. The speaker's head is full of whispers, but those whispers will be silent by morning because the trees will have gone to their natural environment. The sound of glass is breaking is mentioned here. The trees are stumbling forward into the night. Stumble means lose one's balance often while walking. The trees have been confined for a long time, so they stumbled while moving. Winds rush to meet them. All winds are welcoming the trees, it seems. Here in this stanza, the moon is described as broken like mirror, with its pieces flashing in the crown of the tallest oak. Here, crown refers to uppermost part of the tree. The moon can be seen through the branches of trees, so the moon seems like a broken mirror. It is also simile. A comparison is made between Moon and mirror. The moon is mentioned, which could represent a witness to the tree's journey. By leaving the confined space, the trees reclaim their rightful place in nature. Thus, this poem conveys the message that everyone has a deep desire for freedom. We must follow the rules of nature and should not try to overrule it. The deeper meaning of the poem, accomplishment of women's struggle, and victorious march of the trees also give hope. Sustaining. Hope is the sustaining force, you see. Freedom and equality should be for all the living organisms in the world. People may restrict others, but one day they will come out from their confinement. So both the trees and women sustain the environment. Just as trees are essential for environment, women are essential for humanity. Now let us examine the poetic devices used by the poet. First one, imagery. What is an imagery? Use of words and phrases that create visual images in the mind of the readers. See in the first stanza, second and third lines. The forest that was empty all these days, where no birds could sit. It's an image. See in the second stanza, seventh, eighth, ninth line. Like a newly discharged patients, half-dazed, moving to the clinic doors. The second one, simile. Simile means two different objects compare one another by using words like or as. So the second and the seventh line, like newly discharged patients. Here trees are moving like newly discharged patients. The comparison is made between trees and newly discharged patients. And second stanza, eighth line, you see, still reaches like a voice into the rooms. What is comparison? Comparison is made between smell and voice. And the fourth and the sixth line, the moon is broken like a mirror. He comparison is between moon and mirror that I told you already. Now third one, repetition. Lines are words repeated to emphasize an idea or feeling. For instance, you see the first stanza, the same line, the forest that was empty, is repeated in the first and the second position and eighth position. No personification. What is personification? It is an object or living beings are given human-like attributes. See in the first stanza, first line, the trees inside are moving. Here trees are personified. In first stanza, fifth line, no sun bury its feet in shadow. Here sun is personified. Second stanza, you see the first line, all night the roots work. Roots are personified. Means human-like qualities are attributed. In the fourth stanza, fifth line, winds rush to meet them. Means winds are welcoming the trees. Here winds are personified. Apart from these personifications, see overall the poem, roots, leaves, twigs and boughs are personified. Means human-like attributes are given. Now the fifth one, poetic device, anaphora. What is an anaphora? The first word in two or more consecutive lines is repeated. See in the first stanza, fourth and fifth lines, no insect hide, no sun bury its feet in shadow. Here no is repeated, the beginning of the two lines. Now alliteration. Next, figure of speech. The beginning consonant sounds of two consecutive words are same. See for example, third stanza, second line. Long letters. Here la sound is repeated. The third stanza, sixth line. Sky still. Here sa sound is repeated. And third stanza, seventh line. Leaves and lichen. La sound is repeated. Now the next poetic device, enjambment. It is a poetic technique where a line of poetry continues on to the next line without a pause or punctuation at the end. See here in the first stanza, from second line to seventh line, the continuous flow, thought has been processed without any punctuation marks. Observe it. Now, the last one, symbolism. It's very, very important for poetry. It is one of the important poetic devices, use of symbols to represent ideas or qualities. Here in this particular poem, the trees are used to signify the importance of forests and problems of deforestation. At the superficial level, the trees symbolize the conflict between man and nature. At the deeper level, the trees symbolize the suppressed women community in our society. I hope you understood well. I made it clear the poem. Now, if you have any queries, please let me know. Please leave your comments in the drop box. Thank you very much for your listening and your patience.